it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're focusing in on a very important part of understanding narcissistic relation dynamics, and that is enmeshment. Enmeshment occurs with a narcissist when the relationship is too close, when the boundaries have become blurred between you and this other person, when the boundaries have been violated. They have basically been destroyed by a narcissist. A narcissist, because of their lack of empathy and because of their sense of superiority and the priority that they emphasize and place themselves with as they relate to other people, it is always their feelings, needs, wishes, opinions, viewpoint that are going to be at the priority, that are going to be at the helm, are going to be at the focal point of any gathering, event, situation, family, business. They are just going to be at that level. That is how they are equipped physiologically in their psychological makeup. And oftentimes this relates to the experience of enmeshment when you really aren't permitted to be yourself. You're not permitted to have your own life. You're not permitted to explore life on your terms. The narcissist is going to try to rein you in through control and manipulation to keep just that, the manipulation and control going on, really resulting as a fear of abandonment of this supply. So the enmeshment, the whole issue with enmeshment is that it's fueled by a fear of abandonment and a fear of rejection. And the supply, when when the narcissist is holding on too tight to their source of supply or to their this individual who they are feeling is entitled, they are entitled to have them in their life. They are deserving to have them in their life because of the blueprint with which they have written them in. Their boundaries do not exist. They're not permitted to have their own feelings because this is felt as rejection, or this is felt with hostility or revenge or resentment, just for the very fact that this individual has their own opinion. So oftentimes the narcissist will perceive this as a threat because the narcissist wants to be in control. The narcissist wants to direct. The narcissist wants to feel enmeshed with this individual, too close. They want to take credit where credit is due, but yet they're not able to let that person go because this person, in essence, works like a shield. This person is working like a decoy in their life where they are essentially living through them. They are seeking the validation from this individual in order to prop themselves up. Really, and it becomes a a situation where it becomes a real sort of denial. The narcissist will engulf and enmesh this individual in their life because of this fear of abandonment, and perhaps this was done to them, but it is a way to keep the narcissist from living their own life. In other words, if they can always vicariously live through the achievements of this individual, they don't have to achieve anything themselves. They don't have to confront the fact that they need to adapt, adjust, make inroads for themselves, stand on their own 2 feet, and be, in essence, an individual in their own right. So we hear about the helicopter mother, the helicopter father, the one who's always hovering over their children, always gloating in their accomplishments. They don't oftentimes have a lot of substance in their own life, so they take substance from the other life in order to feel validated, in order to feel effective, in order to derive some sort of fulfillment in life. They're in essence living vicariously through this individual. And this is really where we call, this is what we call enmeshment. When a narcissist will be overly controlling, overpowering. And so if you've encountered that, you might find this as a very difficult situation to overcome. And it's very difficult to come to terms because oftentimes the narcissist just doesn't see it. They just see others literally as an extension of themselves. So when you try to express yourself, your interests, your needs, your accomplishments, basically doing your thing, and you present this to the narcissist, who you just have everyday normal conversation, you're going to find that you're going to get rebuked. You're going to get some sort of bounce back. You're going to get some sort of pushback because the narcissist is not comfortable with having you in your own life or you being empowered. They have this abandonment issue, so they need to hold on too tight to this individual. And this is not healthy. This is what we call basically squelching people, trying to, waffle over them so that they really can't be free or be liberated or have their own life, which they have the right to as a human being. So, this becomes a very difficult situation, and oftentimes creates a necessary, the individual needs to create a necessary distance in order to live their own life. So if you have been empowered to move beyond this situation, because the pain is so great, you're sick of the criticism, you're sick of the judgment, you're sick of this individual constantly trying to tell you what to do, how to be, oftentimes which can be contrary to your nature, then realize that you may be dealing with a enmeshed narcissistic relationship where they in essence have removed the boundaries between you and them. The fact that you're your own person just does not stick with them. It does not resonate. They literally don't, they're not able to perceive it. They're not able to validate you because they need validation from you to feel good about themselves rather than the individual validating themselves. So we see a very interesting dynamic there, and it's very important to recognize this, become aware, and triumph over it. And this this can pertain to males and females alike. We hear about the mother's boy, who the mother is very narcissistic or possessive of this child, and constantly get in the way of them having their own relationships. They tend to sabotage it. They tend to do crazy things, just wacky things that, keep them, not able to relate and have their own life. They might sit on their lap while their friends are around and be overly affectionate to this child when they should be having affection of another from the opposite sex. They might be very possessive of their children. And this can make them very uncomfortable, and it can be very unhealthy because that individual needs to go out and test their own personality, be their own person, find out what makes them tick, find out who they're about, and then, go out into the world and experience this and do this without feeling fearful that they're disappointing a narcissist. So if you have felt this sort of tugging at you, this enmeshment, where you had to be taking care of the narcissist, you had to live for the narcissist, you had to basically, be there for them, you weren't entitled to your own life, or the narcissist made you feel this way, realize that yes, you are required, and you do have the right to your own life. You do have the right to your own time. You do have the right to your own opinions without being shot down for having opinions. And that's the very difficult part too, is that we find that those who are enmeshed, they just try to express themselves and they end up getting shot down. They end up getting rebuked. They end up getting sneered at for having an opinion that might be their own and very valid, but they'll find the flaws in their judgment. They'll find the flaws in their strategy or how they feel about something. And so it becomes very uncomfortable. And in other words, that individual no longer then is going to benefit from being in that relationship, because you do need to have your boundaries and you do have the right to your own perspective, your own vision, your own experience, and share that with others without it being invalidated. That's the main issue we find with enmeshment, is that the narcissist tends to not validate your opinion or be supportive or understanding or listening, or what we call empathetic. Sound familiar? The narcissist does not have the ability to listen to, absorb, take in those individuals. They are threatened by it. It's not part of their hardwiring. It's not part of their hardware. They are all about themselves. They have this priority, me, 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 me. I'll get whatever I want. And I will furthermore control all those others in the individual so that they serve me. And it's not a two-way street. It's basically one way with them. And if you try to have footing or, communicate with them, you're going to find very easily that you're going to want to backpedal because this individual does not listen. They do not receive your content. They do not receive the fact that you're a worthy and worthwhile individual. They tend to just shoot it down because it makes them feel so much better about themselves. And so, realize that if you're trying to salvage this relationship, if you're trying to feel like, I want to be able to get through this enmeshment, realize it can be very difficult, especially when the narcissist is the way that they are. Especially if you've been re-traumatized again and again and again, you find it, basically you've learned your lesson that you can't be yourself around this person, so you cease trying. And if that's, the case, it does become toxic. It does become too wrought with hostility. It does become too wrought with resentment. It does become too wrought with anger, which is a lot of negativity. And, you need to be able to let that go. And basically just release and say, I'm sorry. It can't work out. It's almost not meant to be. And so you have to accept the relationship on those terms, that this individual is trying to enmesh, this individual is trying to control too much, and it just is not in the best interest of both parties to have that enmeshment. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.